Right, so I'm here today washing your belt. Should you do it? Seems no, yes.
Yeah,
never. So we sort of you two had a brief discussion on it. The answer was yes, you should wash it.
Yeah, I don't think you can get much more brief.
Yeah, I think definitely wash it. There is the argument amongst the traditionalists that you shouldn't wash your belt for fucking crazy reasons.
Did you wash your pants?
Yeah, I got to say, because the first time I didn't wash my belts coming up through the ranks because I didn't have any of them long enough for it really to be an issue. I think that was the thing. But my black belt, yeah, sort of 6 months in, and you think, Jesus, this thing stinks. So I washed my belt.
Yeah.
Because why would you not? If it's something smells like that, then there's obviously an issue. Went into dojo the next day. Oh yeah, wash my belt, and the look of horror on the club, or the instructor's face, the club secretary's face, the fact that I'd washed all the spirit out of my belt. I hadn't realised that spirit smelt like that. It could explain how much spirit I got at the end of lockdown, but
that's what the famous Nirvana song is all about, isn't it?
Smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, it's all about washing your belt.
Okay, fair enough. Because I wondered what sort of smells you got in teenage bedrooms.
There you go. So the question, I mean, where the fuck did that come from? Who made that up in the first place? Why are people so amazingly
precious about it?
You talk about all these people who don't believe in magic or they're not superstitious, and yet they are being superstitious about something that's
their belt.
Frankly, nuts.
Yeah. Well, I did say, I mean, I'm going to have to say it because we mentioned it the other day, and it is quite a funny one. When I talked to my wife about this, said about washing the belts, and she said, "Is that a bit like washing your teddy and washing all those hugs and kisses out of your teddy?" And it's the same fucking thing, isn't it?
It is exactly the same.
Do you believe your teddy's full of hugs and kisses?
Yeah.
So your belt's full of.
Is if we get our wives in to have a chat, it might be more sensible than us bothering.
But it's surprising the level people believe it at. So I was watching various things the other day because of a link you'd sent on something else. I had a look at various things, and people actually have a ceremony when they get a new belt. It was impressive to see somebody then having to transfer all their knowledge into their new belt.
Just go on, Bob. It won't be no good for the podcast, but for the video, you got to. You've got to show us the ceremony.
Well, no, I don't need to, because it becomes specific then, but people have rituals for these things. But this notion that you're giving a new piece of cloth in a polythene bag, you take it out of the bag and you have to press it on various parts of your body to transfer your spirit and your knowledge and your heart into the new belt. This is just cult behavior. This is mysticism. Its most tribal form, isn't it? And it bears no relationship to the real world whatsoever.
I did see that. That was fucking mental.
But it's just a case of scale, though, isn't it? It goes from it's just a piece of cloth that holds your belt closed to, oh no, you don't want to wash it because of this, and you're your spirit in it, and then you get to actual rituals where you're transferring stuff into.
So if you put your knowledge from your head into your belt, when you take your belt off, when you go out on the street, you have to put your knowledge back in your head. No. So if you get into a fight,
because it's a fairly safe assumption that if you're not wearing your belt, fuck all. You've got no spirit, you've got no knowledge.
Yeah,
so
all in that magic
belt is magic.
Yeah.
Now my belt's magic because I've got to be honest. If I took it off, having 3 meters of really heavy fabric like that, I could give somebody a fair old smack from a distance with it.
But that's what they do in some of the jiu-jitsu stuff. They have that belt ceremony where if someone gets a new belt, they run through the thing whilst everyone's whipping them with the belts.
Yeah. That's a bit bad, isn't it, really?
It is. And it's interesting, isn't it, that people have these hazing rituals, whatever they are, but they become so entrenched in the dogma of stuff that people start putting real meaning into them and belief into them.
Yeah.
So
I think it's difficult because if you don't believe in any of that sort of thing, then it's difficult to get your head around why people do. But my problem is the fact that a lot of martial arts people take impressionable young people in, and they teach them this dogma as being real, and it never gets questioned.
Well, it's just social conditioning, isn't it? It's the same as anything else. I mean, you're brought up in the religion you're brought up in, or the country and the behaviors of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're brought up in. And it's rare that you will think about that for the first bit, because you're getting your head around everything else. And then as you get older, you start questioning stuff. But some people just don't.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not.
Yeah, there's got to be, there's got to be a point in that journey where you think, this is a bit fucking mad. This is, like I say,
not the way cults work, though, is it?
No, it's just true enough.
People don't look at it and think this is a bit mad. Anybody from the outside looking at it just thinks, why would you do that? But it's a progression of things, isn't it? You get sucked in.
Yeah, it's true.
I suppose some people aren't in it deep enough that they, I mean, if you go twice a week to karate and you don't, and they go, don't wash your belt, and you just go, yeah, whatever, I don't give a shit, I'm just turning up for the exercise.
But it's interesting, isn't it, that so many clubs make such a big issue about cleanliness and hygiene.
Yeah.
Wash your gi, keep your toenails clipped, wash your hair, keep yourself clean, make sure you don't smell, put this stinking rotten piece of cloth around your middle, and the magic pixies will help you when it comes to a fight.
Yeah.
That's mad. Just out of curiosity, if you both, maybe they don't fit anymore, but have you both got your first black belts?
I've only ever had the one black belt.
Oh, really? Okay.
The black belt that I wear is my first black belt.
Okay.
Like, so this is it. It's 20 years old. It's not frayed. It's slightly grey where it's been washed a few times, but it's not frayed. It's not damaged. Anything. Why do I need?
Worth the money, that one then. Worth the money.
£10 well spent.
Yeah.
I dyed my belts, as I was saying earlier, because it was cheaper than buying them, and so I dyed my belt from white to yellow to orange to green to purple. There's some great colours. The brown to black. I've still got it. It's hanging out. Now that has shrunk because obviously I dyed it and washed it right how many times, and it's sort of like a light grey now.
Right.
Well,
but I've still got it.
That's my original belt. 20 years of washing and wearing.
Yeah. For the people on the podcast, it's looking in pretty good condition.
I should imagine. Yeah, it looks pretty. Yeah. If you went to buy that, if you look closely at the tags, you're just starting to get a few white lines on there. Yeah, nobody on the podcast is going to be able to see me.
No. But yeah, so I think I've had 4 black belts. So I've got the one that I first got presented when I passed, which is actually pretty good quality. It's cotton, so the cotton belts obviously last longer.
Yeah.
So that was good, and then I wanted a silk belt because everybody else in the dojo had, the other black belts had them, and they looked cool, and I wanted it embroidered. So I went and done that, and then when I left that organisation, I got this belt, which is no good because it's got their logo on it. It's got their association on the belt. So then I bought another belt. So after buying all these different belts, I've become much less attached to them, and I don't care. A belt's a belt, isn't it? At the end of the day. So in fact, I like a newer looking belt rather than people like go for the frayed look. Fuck that.
Well, people buying pre-frayed belts.
Sorry.
I was going to say the fact that people are buying pre-frayed belts to make themselves look more advanced than they are.
Yeah. Or people are buying belts that are reversing in colour because they heard something about that, some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to the whole horseshit myth, isn't it? That you started with a white belt that eventually went black over years of training.
Yeah.
But it's total bollocks because the belts didn't exist in the original training. This is something that was picked up from judo. It's a late addition to stuff.
So I don't know. Did anybody set a timer? Because in danger of becoming not a short, we're going to have to wrap this one up.
I did set a timer. We're almost at 10, but
okay. So I think we should wrap it up there. So the overwhelming consensus is yes, you should wash your belt.
You dirty bastard.
There's no magic in there.
Well, we haven't mentioned the infections that you can get off this sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Which Less of an issue if you're only standing in lines punching fresh air. You just smell bad from a distance. But if you're going to be in any sort of contact with anybody, then the health responsibilities alone should be enough for you to wash your belt. And if you're going to spend time rolling on the floor or anything else where you're contacting surfaces, you should wash your belt.
Yeah.
And the question is, if you're going to wash your gi, why not wash your belt? Why is the magic in the belt and not the gi? Or your pants, or whatever else you wear, for that matter.
I've got my magic pants on today.
Pants. Never wash them.
Yeah, I've been wearing these 20 years and I'm not washed them yet.
Right.
You can smell the spirit from the door.
Let's leave it there, shall we?
I think so. Time to move on.